Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Out of Rhythm Fantasy Sports. I'm your host, Jamie, and we got my co-host, Eli, and I got my other co-host, Donovan, on the other side. And my goodness gracious, welcome in, everybody, because it's a little time for a little.
What? Wednesday Night Dynamite. NFC North in the club. In the
Uh,
club. Oh shit, man.
but yeah, welcome in, everybody. It is actually we are actually hitting up. Oh, hey, check out the background because this is all just new for just specifically for this stream tonight, and then it's going to go back to the original stream. So I just wanted to do something just for the NFC North. So, and my Twitch is not working. What the freak? Probably took too long or something. I don't know. Good gravy. Something's going on with my Twitch over there. Ah, hopefully I can maybe get it hooked up, but who knows? Anyways, guys, let's get into everything.
Oh. You know what? Before we do that, do a little something special. Got to give a plug to some long drink here. Some good stuff, man. Sipping on this flavored vodka. Yeah. Join our Discord. You haven't done that yet. Always exciting. Some fireworks going on. Funny. So some of our bits are on there as well. Lots of interesting characters. So it's a welcome community. I should be on there more, but yeah, these two fellas, they're always putting content on the Discord. And go back, listen to our previous shows. Because one night, hour and a half, 2 hours, hour, whatever we end up doing, is just not enough of us. Hey, we get it. Once a week. You got to go back. You got to get a little bit more of us. So we're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn. There's another one like Bean or something. I thought we had found our Podbean. Yeah, Podbean. So I mean, we're in quite a few places, and we're still waiting on that review. We've been asking. We've been demanding it for weeks now. We want some reviews. We want some extra comments, some questions. Anthony asked a question. Of course, Anthony, last minute. That's what he does. He asked it as we were going off the air last week, but I mean, I'm glad he did. And yeah, tonight's gonna be a lot of fun. Got some NFC North. Big D's on the show, so lots of fun. And did I mention the long drink? This is becoming a personal favorite of mine, man. This is good stuff.
Well, that is fantastic. I don't know. I guess sorry for people on Twitch. Twitch is not working for some odd reason. So any of our followers on Twitch, I am very, very sorry. I'm not sure what the hell happened. Usually we get views on Twitch, but I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. So I'm sorry, guys.
It's just going to be one of those nights, huh?
I know. Good God.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
Big old fail. That's for damn sure. Good God.
I'm digging that orange combination you got going there with the OSU lid and the headphones, man. I'm digging that.
Yep. So before we get rolling, I want to give Joel actually shout out at Pigskin Frenzy. We've been doing some collaborations, so hopefully we can get him on the show here sometime soon. Go over, check him out. He's actually on YouTube as well. He's on Podbean and Spotify. He's pretty much fairly new too as well. So hopefully we can get him some views, and hopefully we can kind of help him along the way as well. So go out and check Joel at he's actually on Facebook as well. He actually has Twitter as well too. So go out and give him a check out at Pigskin Frenzy.
Yeah, boy.
All right, guys. I suppose we better dive into this and get everybody in tune so they're not jumping away, running away from us, man, because we need all the views we can get this time.
I'm gonna reel him back in, Jay. I'm gonna pull the rope. I'm gonna get the rod.
There you go. We're done.
Oh. Well, we can't start with the Packers if you got the blue out then. Remember, I am
that's my discount special right there.
The
way the Packers are going, man. I'll get to them in a few minutes. The way they're headed, they'll go to the way of Kmart.
I am your non-biased source.
They're putting up on the field. Good Lord.
Football.
Come on now.
Let's start this thing.
Come on, Eli. Come on. I'm waiting. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. I'm waiting.
So you sound like one of those munchkins from the Wizard of Oz,
or an underpants gnome from South Park.
I know, right?
Yeah. No.
So excited. So excited.
You should be. You're here with Out of Rhythm, and we got some headlines here. Did you guys hear about Saquon Barkley? I know it's a couple days old at this point, but Saquon finally signed a 1-year deal for $11 million. Just want to get your guys' thoughts on that.
Here's my thought and why the signing went down. I am in the Diesel Dynasty Sports 4-sport podcast league startup, and we are about 1,000 pro picks in, and we just started a rookie draft, and I have it's co-sponsoring a team with another guy. And I said to him, hey, let's try something really clever. Let's pick up Eric Gray just in case Saquon holds out. And then the MFer, 1 hour later, signs the damn contract and blows our pick up and makes us look like fools. So it was my fault. But anyway.
Yes, I actually don't mind.
Let it slip through your fingers.
Well, with the signing, well, luckily that is a good thing because everybody was probably going to be scrambling and looking at the rookie, and I'm pretty fond of the rookie from the Sooners. He actually played very well. We actually talked about him briefly a little bit, I think, in a different pod or a different division. I don't remember exactly, but we ended up talking about him. I was with the Giants. Brain fart there for a moment. I'm just horrible. But yeah, yes, it was. Honestly, I don't mind that the rookie that they have. I was actually wanted to check out. So Matt Breida. Matt Breida's been around for a little while, so yeah, I'm all right. I mean, I'm fine with Eric Gray. They have James Robinson, so I think this is going to be for us to actually watch it in training camp, see which guy is going to get some. James Robinson was only kind of 1-year deal, anyways. Eric Gray should be the guy for the future, anyways. So that's the way I see it, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might end up being an okay pickup.
You say James Robinson?
Yes, I did.
James Robinson? What?
He would just sign it.
This guy's like a cat. I know he's like a cat. He's got 9 lives. I keep thinking this guy's going to be playing in the XFL, and he keeps coming back.
He just signed
Like
the other day. Well, if you weren't in our Discord, I posted in our Discord that James Robinson was actually signed by the Giants, and Cole Beasley is signed with the Giants as well.
Another case of the Beasles.
Yep. So yeah, there's a lot.
Well,
a lot of receivers.
Cole's another one, man. He makes the rounds too.
He
was
sure does.
I think he was in Tampa for a cup of coffee, Dallas, Buffalo.
Yep. And he was going to retire. He actually kind of retired from the Fox. And then
I think it's a win-win. Not what he was expecting. I mean, like no running backs are getting long-term deals for them. You know what, dude? Like, it's like we were saying last week when we were doing the NFC East. It's like you should have picked a different position. You should have picked a different position when you were the best kid in Pop Warner when you were 10. Sorry, dude. I mean, $11 million. Like, I mean, we all work regular jobs. Like we're all working stiffs. So don't come crying to us. $11 million is nothing to snuff at. And with his injury history too, and you combine the fact I don't even think he's the best running back in the league.
Who?
I mean,
Barkley?
Saquon's honestly, I would say maybe top 6
I would take,
or 7. I don't even
if he does.
think
I would take him.
he's.
He's
I
under.
don't
I
even
think he's pretty.
think
think
he's
he's pretty
a
close.
top 3 or 5. He's franchise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. I think I would.
I think we're.
He's the top 10. He's a top 10. Top 10 running back. That's just me though.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was saying like top 6 or 7. Like he's not a top 3 or 5 running back. So I don't know what he wasn't going to get
Yeah,
15, 16 million dollars.
yeah. I mean, he's borderline top 5-ish. I mean, you can say he's pretty close with Taylor. I think Taylor takes a bump down and Barkley kind of surpasses him. That's my thought process. You'll have Eckler, CMC up there, so Barkley can be a top 5 guy if it does come down to it.
Yeah. He played 16 games and I had almost 300 carries. So I think, the last couple of years we pushed him down saying injury risk. And last year he put up very similar numbers to his rookie year. So, I mean, he's back. And as far as football goes now, he's 26 years old. So I think that may have been the pinnacle of his running back career right there. Like he matched his rookie season. I don't know how I should say matched it because receptions were down, but he got up there. He had 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's your peak right there. He has hit the peak and he's probably going to bring you 1,000 yards again this year, close to 10 touchdowns again. But I think every year we see him start slowly tumbling backwards. So dynasty wise, sell.
Yep.
And get that top 5, top 10 running back return right now because it's got to start coming backwards. So.
Yep. Some other quick news too. Brock Purdy is not on the PUP list, so he can practice. Josh Jacobs, he won't be reporting for training camp. Let's see. I think there is Kadarius Toney. He might be missing time with some of his knee issues.
What?
Yep. Rashad Bateman reports to training camp.
Rice.
Yep. Amari Cooper suffers minor tweak Sunday, and Jimmy G is actually passes physical, and he should be ready to do some training camp stuff. So yeah, those are kind of small. I'm sure there's some other quite few or some other headlines, but these are just kind of a few quick hitters. And we'll talk about another guy at the end. We'll talk about Justin Herbert at the end of the show. So we'll leave that teaser for the end. So you prepare for a long haul and stay tuned for the end, guys.
I was going to get a quick point in here. I'm glad we're getting some clarification on some of these guys, especially before a lot of the drafts are about to happen. Obviously, the year-to-year stuff, most people draft middle of August, end of August. So, Brock Purdy being back, we would assume he's the starter. I don't think it's going to be Sam Darnold. Damn sure ain't going to be Trey Lance. So I think that's Purdy's job. So that gives some clarification, especially you're in a 2-quarterback league. I mean, Purdy's, could very well be your second quarterback. He's not, in like a 12-team single quarterback league, he's not going to start. He's not a top 12 quarterback, not by any means, but he could be a top 24. He could definitely, 2 quarterbacks. So that affects that. Kadarius Toney being out. Me and Jamie were talking up Rice a couple weeks ago when we were doing the AFC West and the Chiefs. So that he'll get some more targets. We would assume Sky Moore. Obviously Kelsey. So it's more feeding the big guy. I like getting clarification because if Tony's going to be out, Andy Reid was saying that he's hopeful for week 1, but if he's out week 1, that's because Tony was going to be a higher pick, not first couple rounds high, but he's going to be one of the upper middle round picks. So
I just traded him away, sent him on his way.
Ooh.
Speculation. Donovan knew this was going to happen. You know what? You need to go the way of Martha Stewart and Bernie Madoff and all these other crooks because I think you had insider information.
I know nothing. Yeah, back to the San Francisco quarterback situation. Nothing is out of the picture there. And let me tell you, if I'm paying money to be in a fantasy football redraft league this year, guess how many of those guys I'm going to own? None.
Oh,
I'm not touching one of them. Any one of them. Any one of the three.
Whoa.
Ain't touching them. You can have them. You can have them.
I don't know. Okay, well, can you elaborate a little bit?
If Brock Purdy or Trey Lance, if it's my last pick, I'm not touching it. I am not touching that. I don't know that we have. I don't feel that they had. What did they pay? 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance.
Yep, I think
this
so.
is. I think this is the end of his contract. Is that right? Like they're gonna run that. That guy's gonna get some time.
I don't know. I don't.
Brock Purdy's coming back from a Tommy John type surgery. Like there's so many.
Lance has got. Let me get that in quick. Lance has got one more year on his contract after this, so he's through 2024 because he was a rookie in 2021. So
the 4 years, they're going to want to see what they got.
I don't think they would exercise that. So yeah, they're pretty much stuck with him. He has no trade value right now. So I mean, best case scenario, somebody gets hurt, which is always
confident. Possible. I'm pretty confident Lance is going to start, but
really.
I do. They paid so much. They paid so much for this guy, and
I'm not sure. They might have.
He can't
if
play.
they paid this much for him, I mean, hell, they might as well just try to get some value back and ship his ass out and try to get recuperate some draft picks. That's just me. Or the other thing is they can just put him on the little extra QB pup list, whatever it is, and just let him sit there. Yeah, I feel Brock Purdy is a little bit better.
Yeah, so, yeah, you got to do something. Because it's a bad look. It's a bad look for Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, everybody involved. Because that's a Super Bowl roster. Quarterback. Yeah, I agree. They don't have. That's what's going to hold them back from winning a title. They don't have Jalen Hurts or Stafford or any of these level guys to take them to there. But Purdy with those weapons, I mean, at the very least, I mean, come on, he's got to have some value. I mean, one of these guys.
We'll get into that too here soon. So we'll get into that a little bit more when we hit that divisional preview. We'll wrap this up. And was there any other quick news that we needed? I don't think so.
Packer players rode bikes to practice this morning.
Ooh, well, I'm sure because it's 100 some odd degrees out here.
It's the annual traditional players bike ride in. So they take all the kids' bikes and ride into practice. First day of training camp today.
So nice.
Search that. You'll see a bunch of overweight guys that are about to lose 30 pounds in the next 2 weeks riding little huffies with tassels off of them. It's pretty cool. Great tradition. It's a great tradition, though. It really is. For all those crazy Packers. Like the town here in Green Bay right now, it's stupid nuts. We have an Airbnb next to us. It's been booked all week. They came from Iowa. They're up for they're owners of the Packers. So they go to the owners meeting on Monday. They're being railbirds this morning. The whole town is a zoo. There's people driving all over, smashing into shit because they don't know where they're going. It's good times. Green Bay is alive again.
Well, everybody, and looks like we got some good views. For all the viewers out there, appreciate all the views. Welcome into our Rhythm Fantasy Sports, and we should be diving into these previews. We were just hitting over just some quick NFL news and little Brock Purdy talk here, and enough for that. So where are we heading there, big boy?
Well, I'm glad they got their exercise in. They had a group bonding, whatever you Wisconsin peeps, call it. But now comes the reality check.
Bring it up.
Okay, that's what's going to happen because now we got to start with the list. We got to start with Eli's top 5 fantasy players from each team in the NFC North. It's going to happen. And I'm starting off with the Packers. They're curtain jerkers. I'm sorry. I gotta go there. Okay, you got your Brewers. Okay, the
Well,
Bucks,
hey,
Bucks will be back in contention in the NBA.
Brewers are going to win their
Pack,
division.
yeah, the Pack will finish third at best. This is not, yeah, this ain't going to work out very well. But Christian Watson, who's still unproven to an extent. I mean, he came on like gangbusters second half of last year. No doubt, he's got the ability to get double-digit touchdowns. But it all comes down to Jordan Love. Because we still don't know. I mean, we hear reports, he's got it. We hear reports that, hey, it's going to take at least half a year, just varying things. And Donovan could probably elaborate more, because he's in the trenches here over there. But yeah, Watson. I think Watson. I think he could be a top 20 receiver. I don't see any reason that he couldn't be, especially being the clear cut number one option here. I would put a gun to my head. I would say 85 grabs, probably very similar numbers to like Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin from Washington. They're kind of be comps. Very similar, like maybe 1150 with yards. Maybe 10 touchdowns. I mean, that's a damn good year. I mean, it's not Chase Jefferson, those kind of level guys, but yeah, he could definitely be, hovering around top 15, top 20.
I mean, I don't know about 10 touchdowns. I maybe 8. I think maybe 8. I don't know.
He had 7 last year.
Oh, go ahead,
I think he does about 7. And I think that'd be his ceiling for this year.
He had 7 TDs in 11 games, which I mean that was in 11 starts, I should say, last year. But I mean, and I know that was last year, but he's going to get fed a lot of targets.
But yep, I think he will. I just think right now I think 7 is a good ceiling for him. But I don't know.
It's just all it. You think he's gonna, most of these guys you figure they're gonna miss a couple games. They're gonna miss 2-3 games. So I'm banking on 14 or 15 starts. And so if you transpose 7 touchdowns over 11 games from last year, it kind of equates to that. Obviously, you have to catch different breaks and who's ever on the schedule. If one of the corners is hurt from the Lions or Vikes or whoever. It just depends. I just think he, with his big playability and as much as he's going to get fed, I think 10 touchdowns isn't out of the question. Jay's right. It'll be somewhere in that range. It'll be 8 to 10. I think we all have a consensus on that. Catches, I'm thinking about 85. What do you guys think?
Maybe 70-ish, some receptions at total.
Yeah.
I don't see him going over.
I'm kind of in that same boat. High 70s, low 80s, probably. He's just so he's not going to be more. He's going to get a lot more of the long tosses. So I mean, that's going to bring down some of that catch percentage, and we'll see.
I just figure if he's averaging, let's say he averages 6 catches a game, he's not going to have 6 catches every game, obviously.
No.
But if he can average 5-6 catches a game over 14, 15 games, that puts him in that ballpark, that 80 to 85 range. So, I think he's another one. We don't know what his ceiling is. Like, we know he's got the goods. He's good enough to be a number 1 or number 2 receiver for an NFL team. But we'll see what. We'll find out this year, because he's, like I said, he's going to be the clear cut number 1 target. Number 2, I got Aaron Jones. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say I can maybe see him in between maybe 5 and 6 receptions, or maybe 6 and 7 receptions total, possibly. Kind of, not going over 10, but I think his max is 6 or 7 receptions total.
And then we got, so we'll continue the list. We got Aaron Jones at number 2, kind of by default. This isn't the Packers team from 10 years ago or 5 years ago where they were stacked. Jones is getting up there. I think he's going into his 7th year. He's always been a productive back. Gets some work out of the backfield as well, catching passes, yards. He's always going to split carries with AJ Dillon, so they're always going to be, in the jockeying for that. So Jones, kind of scrimmage yards. Scrimmage yards is where his value is truly at. He's not a big touchdown guy. He'll explode like he did against Detroit. I think it was last year, 2 years ago. Donovan would probably remember that. We had that 4 touchdown game.
Yeah.
So he's got the ability to explode, but it's spotty. Jordan Love, I put at 3 because, like I said, we don't know what what his ceiling is, or what a 17-game season looks for him. I think he can get maybe number is maybe a little bit better than Sam Howell. Like Sam Howell, we brought up last week. I had Sam Howell at about 23 touchdowns. I think Love could get 24, 25. Somewhere in that range. I think that's realistic. If Watson's going to get 9-ish touchdowns, I mean Dobbs will get a few. You got to figure the two young tight ends, they'll get a couple. Aaron Jones will get a few out of the backfield. Jalen Reed, who I'll talk about in a second, the young rookie from Michigan State, you got to figure he's going to be worked in a little bit. So he could get 25 touchdowns is doable. I don't know what do you guys think?
21, 22 probably. I think for Love, I think he'll have at least maybe 3,400 some odd yards passing at least. So I mean it's. I'm pretty sure he'll have some good yards this year as well. Just like you mentioned, unproven. We don't know what we're really going to get. I mean, he had a small sample size of him in a couple of games here and there. So I mean, it's just you just don't know. Everybody's going to say, "Oh, the Packers are going to be really good." We just honestly, I don't know what I'm going to see with the Packers because they lost their main QB. They lost their at least probably their wide receiver 1 or 2 at that time to the Jets. So it's kind of like their core is a little nimble. They don't really have a lot of guys there that are going to be studs. There's nothing really pops out. I mean, yeah, Christian Watson, yes, but what about Romeo Doubs? What about Jalen Reed? Their draft pick from this year. They have tons of tight ends, but I mean, it's gonna. From what I see, I don't really see anything popping in my eyes. And we'll get to that in a little bit too.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to put Love in the low 20s for touchdowns this year. It's such a young receiving core that he's got that I just don't. So Aaron Rodgers could bring these guys in and work with them, right? But we saw what he did with. You haven't worked with me. You're going to sit on the fence and watch until I'm ready to throw the ball to you. I'm not throwing the ball to you until I'm damn ready to throw the ball to you. Jordan Love, the difference now, the one thing that's going to be interesting to see is that Matt LaFleur is going to get to be a head coach this year. And so we're going to get to see what he really has been wanting to do since he stepped foot in Green Bay. And he's gotten a lot of heat around here for some of it. But the truth of the matter is, the head coach just went to New York to play a quarterback for the Jets. That's how it went. He went to the line. He was like, piss on this guy. This is what we're doing. He got, and it's similar to a Peyton Manning who he ran the entire offense. The only difference between Peyton and Aaron is, Peyton ran a perfect system and Aaron was trying to be, 32 years old again. I could do that yet. I could still do this. Peyton Manning's like, no, I have my neck fused together. I'm only going to throw passes 8 yards because that's what's going to happen, right? So that's the difference between them. Now you got Jordan Love coming in. I don't know what to expect. We haven't seen a lot, and what we have seen, they got 4 highlights total on this guy.
There's not much at all.
We don't know. We don't know at all. And I'm actually considering going to the family night, which is their scrimmage, just to see the guy run as a number 1. Going to Eli's list, the one thing that I think might change, especially this year, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more screen passes and Aaron Jones getting – last year, my prediction was that Aaron Jones was going to lead the team in receptions, and he missed it by 1. He is going to lead the team in receptions this year, I feel.
Oh.
That's what I feel. I think they're going back to using Aaron Jones how Aaron Jones should be used. And that's, he's going to run, but he's also going to be out there to catch passes. That's my feeling. I think Aaron Jones is going to have a damn good year. He's going to get back into where he should have been. Where was he in – I don't know if he's going to have 16 touchdowns like he did in 2019, but last year he had 59 receptions. He's only getting more receptions as the years go on. I think he's far exceeding 60 this year, only because he has to. So
I don't know. I think this is going to be a two-headed monster still. I mean, Dylan's kind of Dylan can kind of do the same thing too a little bit. I just don't see them kind of going away from that. I mean, yeah, Aaron Jones could be their, first, second down, kind of get the stuff going, and Dylan can kind of come in and these guys seem almost similar. Dylan can do the same thing as what Jones can do. Jones can do the same thing as Dylan can do. So I mean, I just think these two guys are very, very similar.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying they might be kind of replicating. Remember the Patriots years ago? With Hernandez and Gronk and the running, Falk and.
Since we're talking about those guys, quick here, just pull this up here.
Danny Woodhead. Yeah, go ahead. But I think they might be trying to use the two running back system, the two tight end, the two young studs, Kraft and Musgrave, have a clear cut number one. So I think that affects Dobbs and then the rookie Jalen Reed. But I think going back to like a basic offense is that run heavy and so you could be right. Yeah, a lot of screen stuff. So I mean, yeah, definitely we have a consensus that the top two guys that should have the most value are Aaron Jones and I'm trying to think.
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson. Oh, there we go. There we go. McFly. We need that sound effect too.
Yeah.
I'll pull it off, guys, and then we can do the Jones Dylan comparison since he's on the screen. I got Dylan at 4. He's solid. He's a solid back. He can get you 700-800 yards. It's probably what Jones is gonna. Jones a little bit more. Probably more closer to 800. So I mean, kind of dual head system. 850 plus all the receiving he does. Doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. That's kind of my problem with a lot of these guys that we look at. We look at. We're talking about DJ Moore here in a couple minutes. From the Bears, and it's kind of some of my issue with Dylan, but kind of by default, I put him at 4 because we don't know yet about Tucker Kraft. He's getting good reviews. The rookie Musgrave, he's another young kid getting good reviews. Jalen Reed, had a down year last year at Michigan State, the second round rookie. So kind of by default, I put AJ Dillon there just because he should be getting the same workload he got last year, or very similar. And then at 5, I put Musgrave. Of the two tight ends, I like Musgrave a little bit more. He was a little bit higher. I think he went around sooner than Kraft. So that'd be my top 5 list. It gets to be usually past the number 3 or 4 spot in all these lists I've been doing. Usually it's subjective. You can pop in different guys, or some of these teams that are a little more deficient, like the Packers. Like it's kind of by default. Like, hey, you're gonna kind of by default you're the number 4 guy. Kind of by default you're the 5th option, and so on. So yeah, go ahead.
The only thing I wanted to touch on, but back to the AJ Dillon and the reception side of it. Last year we saw. So 2 years ago, he was phenomenal catching the football. He caught 34 passes out of 37 thrown to him. And we were all pounding the table here going, this is the dude. Last year, remember in the beginning of the year, he just couldn't get going with the rushing game. And over the course of the season, he only had a 65% catch rate. That's not what you need out of a receiver back, so the comment that they're kind of the same, he still had some big plays out of the backfield receiving, but 65%, it's not like they're throwing 50-yard bombs to him, right? These should be fairly catchable. Your receiver back should catch well over 75% of balls thrown to them on screens and whatnot. So I wonder if that's my hesitation with. I think he's got a role on this team. He did have 1,100. Did he have 1,100 yards? No. What did he have? 770 yards.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to be as much as part of the passing game as he should, or has he wanted, or has he proved to be in 2021. He just regressed so much.
Well, those giant quads of his ain't gonna help him in the passing game. What do they call him? Like Quadzilla?
Yeah,
Quad God.
Yeah. Hey,
but I know. I actually for a second, I'll get into this. I actually kind of went a little bit low on Aaron Jones. I was thinking like 850, 900 yards, but I mean, I totally spaced that. He had over 1,100 yards rushing last year.
And 400 through the air.
Team, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was hovering over the whole team, so you kind of forget some of the numbers. I remembered Watson obviously because of his breakout, but I didn't realize that Aaron Jones had that good of a season.
Yeah, he had 1,500 all-purpose yards and
absolutely,
59 receptions. So I think we can replicate. I don't know about the 1,000 yards rushing again, but I think he's going to have. I know he's going to have over 60 receptions this year.
It could be pretty close. I think this will. The hell did I do here? What the hell I'm doing?
200 yards.
But
we're back.
Yeah,
I'm in the middle. Monkey in the middle.
We were doing the shell game here. Find the outer rhythm.
Musical chairs. Find a spot.
Hey, what are you doing, man? And
this is
everybody's not gonna take us seriously. Like, these guys are clowns.
This is what YouTube Shorts are for.
I'm gonna dress up. I'll wear some clown makeup next week.
Go to Walgreens and get your red nose.
No shame.
Yeah, I was just gonna look up. You said Jones. What did you say for Jones? Quick, because I didn't get out. Unfortunately, I was working on all my graphics to get done for the show, and
Jones had 1,121 rushing yards, but only 2 touchdowns.
I was just kind of looking at. I just kind of was curious about his projections for it. Maybe 1,000 some odd yards repeat, because I can see him probably running. I think I could probably see him at least getting another 1,000 yards this year. With their offense being young and everything, and needing a running back in there. I don't know. This could be close too. I mean, like I mentioned, this could be a two-headed monster. I mean, Dalen can kind of take away from Jones a little bit here and there. So I mean, I can see Dalen getting some red zone targets too as well. So it just varies on what the situation is. But I could probably see both these guys going back and forth. But I mean, Jones being a little bit, the smaller, a little bit smaller back there. So I can see Jones kind of just being another 1,000-yard back, give or take.
Yeah, I think he could push it. I don't know that he's gonna be 1,100, but I think he could be right around that 1,000 again if he stays healthy, and of course that's with everybody. So
yeah. But I know we were talking about Watson and Dobbs here quick too, right? With their young, and we can bring in the Jalen Reed thing too as well. I didn't have an opportunity to check him out. But far as I know, with he actually was at Western Michigan, and then he went over to Michigan State. As far as I know, he's only had 1,000-yard receiving. That was in 2021. That was 13 games. He had 59 receptions, 7 touchdowns. Last year, he only had 636. So he dropped down. He wasn't as productive. So I'm kind of curious why he wasn't as productive last year. Maybe there was another wide receiver up there taking away all the targets. So I'm not quite sure why he kind of dropped in receiving and his reception. Well, receptions still 55, but his receiving yards dropped quite a bit from 1,000 the year before. So I'm kind of curious on what happened there. What happened in Michigan State? But average-wise, I mean, not a bad receiver. He's speedy.
Yeah, he's going to be a good addition. I don't know what happened there. Everything really changed. Like you said, he really took a nosedive there. He'll be an interest. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Dobbs was another guy that was just electric in the beginning because he had to be. We didn't have any receivers to throw to, so they highlighted Dobbs, and then all of a sudden he just faded away into nothing. Like if you own Dobbs, and you didn't sell him instantly, like you got caught holding the bag.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what the competition looks like between Reed and there's a lot of people high on Reed. So I like like where he went. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious too as well. I mean, I haven't drafted any of Reed's yet. I've been drafting more of some other rookies. Rice and I know there's a couple other guys too as well. I mean, I've been trying to get more Addison and whatnot. So Jalen Reed will probably be overlooked. Depends on training camp, and who knows, Jalen Reed could be undrafted as well in most redraft leagues as well, because a lot of people are not going to know him unless you're in dynasty leagues. And I believe Jalen Reed was probably a third or fourth rounder in some rookie drafts, possibly, and what most people needed. But overall, I think Jalen Reed will be going and drafted in some leagues.
Yeah, I took him at pick 130 in the 4-sport.
Yeah, I'd snag him up.
Of the rookie portion.
Because and Dobbs isn't a world beater. So
right.
it's kind of it's like with the we talk about the Chiefs, like, there's no, okay, this guy is their number one. I mean, there's room for somebody to come up and take that number one spot. Here it's the number 2. I think Watson is going to be the number 1 going forward. I don't see any reason not to, unless injuries, something happens in the offense, something we don't expect. But Jalen Reed can definitely jump into that 2 spot. Dobbs isn't anything special.
Yeah, I think Reed will be their slot guy because he's only like 5'10". Romeo's like 6'2", and I think Watson 6'2", 6'3", or something like that as well. So I mean, I think Reed will play their slot role more than likely. That's what's probably going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Any more? Speak now or forever hold your peace. What are we looking at, guys, for a record, and your closing comments on just the fantasy outlook, like any draft, any ADP, any draft position, any advice for any people? I'll get mine out of the way quick with the record. I'm going to say that the Packers go 7-10.
I say I'm not sure on record, but they'll finish 3rd in division. I got the Bears being better than the Packers.
What?
Well, actually, so that means they'll be 4th. They've been last. Because I'm high on the Vikings. The Lions. I think the Bears will be better than the Packers as well. So I guess we did last.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. 7-10 feels right. 8-9 feels dirty, but I'm telling you.
The question, though.
So their defense didn't get better per se either. Like that's one thing that's held them in for a long time is they've always had a pretty rock solid defense, and we got some injuries coming back. So I mean, there's a chance, but when you play the Vikings twice, we don't want to play the Vikings twice this year. Though the Vikings defense is probably one of the worst in the entire league, but we just don't have the offense to, take that on, like take advantage of that opportunity. I should say I don't know if we do. So that's where, if we get back to that small ball football, Dylan ramming it down their throat, screens, we go back to Brett Favre and Dorsey 11 stuff. Like none of these passes are going to go over 10 yards, and we're just going to make every one of them count. If Matt LaFleur can implement that and then have an okay defense, I think we could win more games than not. And that, I am a Packers fan, and I am yada, but that's how they're going to win games. Overall, the defense needs to play above expectations, and the offense needs to keep it simple, stupid. Just the KISS formula, and I think they can win games. Now, we're not going to probably beat the Vikings.
So like a variation of the West Coast offense.
Totally. That's what they ran in the Favre era. That's what they ran in the Favre era. Bring it back, man. Roll it back. Let's do it. Dorsey 11's. Who the hell is he?
But
right?
Antonio Freeman, But Antonio Freeman put up good, damn good seasons.
Yeah, he
So,
caught 90 passes, and none of them were over 15 yards.
I don't think it's crazy to think that Watson can't have, a 9, 10 touchdown season or 80, 85 grabs. I mean, they're gonna feed him. They're gonna feed him like I'm about to feed my. I gotta get off the Packers. I'm sorry, Donovan. I tried. I gotta get the Bears. I'm sorry.
How many 50-yard passes do you need to throw in a football game? What would be the answer? How many 50-yard bombs do you need to throw? Aaron Rodgers threw a dozen, like every chance he had, So like that's where I think they can make their money. But I mean, we play the Chiefs, like we play the Vikings twice, we play the Rams. That's a win. So anyway, 7 or 8 wins tops, but third in the division.
Just going to mention here quick that they're pretty much offense was 17th, defense was 17th as well. The rushing was their average about 124 yards per game. That was good for 15th. Passing 288, which was good for about 19th overall. Defense 26, and then defense, their passing defense or pass defense was just horrible. They were giving up about the sixth most passing yards a game. So. Yeah,
mid.
Yep.
Everybody in this division's mid.
Yep. But anyways, where are we heading to next?
Good thing you asked. Yep, rip that receipt up. You ain't keeping no more receipts. You ain't Robert Saleh.
Let's go, Sunshine.
Bears. Yep. The Bears. Bam, they're here. Clear cut number one. In my view, and they got him some more weapons to work with this year. This is the make or break year for Justin Fields. If he's just a fantasy guy, I'll be honest. I've said it before. I think the Bears are going to be bad. I don't see a lot of hope here, but Justin Fields is one of the best fantasy quarterbacks. He just is. Yeah, OMG, you damn right. I can see Justin Fields definitely being in the top 10 for fantasy quarterbacks. I mean, guy ran for over 1,000 yards last year, and he's not gonna have another crappy or that crappy of a season through the air again. I mean, they got him a respectable number one in DJ Moore. We'll see what if they can actually work in Claypool this year or what happened. They traded for him last season. Really didn't do a lot the second half of the year. Mooney is supposed to be healthy for the beginning of the season. I kind of like it's a mid. It's a decent three-way punch there. I like DJ Moore a lot. And that's why I put him at number 2. Consistent 1,000-yard receiver over in Carolina. My issue with DJ has always been scoring touchdowns. I mean, there's a running joke among all the fantasy people, that he just doesn't score touchdowns. So see if that could change under Fields, maybe a different quarterback, different scenery. DJ, I'm trying to think where he falls. Maybe top 20 fantasy receiver. Somewhere in that ballpark, he's lower end.
Only because he's the number one.
And he's the number one, and I probably closer to 20, 21, something like that. He's going to be the clear cut number one in my view. Cole Kmet, I think, is a super underrated tight end. I think he had 8 or 9 touchdowns last year. He's kind of a the young quarterbacks. You gotta have the tight end. Gots to have the tight end. Cole Kmet, not many better. I mean, he's definitely in the better half of the league in terms of tight ends. Could see him replicating what he did last year. If nothing else, if it's only 600-700 yards receiving, which nothing to snuff at for a tight end, but if he can kind of make up for that with another 8-9 touchdowns, he's kind of like a Dawson Knox, but I think he's a little more consistent. If that kind of a comp for where his value stands. Number 4, I put. Well, you guys can jump in. Let me just get through the top 5. Darnell Mooney, I put at 4. He's kind of been the de facto number 1 the last couple years. He's not a number 1. To be honest, I don't think he's a number 2 either. I think he'd be a really good number 3. If he was on a different, a better, like the Chiefs or something, I think Mooney would have a lot more value. And number 5, Khalil Herbert, kind of another guy by default. I know they signed Foreman in the offseason from Carolina. Foreman had a damn good second half of the year with the Panthers last year. Kind of a touchdown guy. Nice to combine with Herbert. Herbert has kind of always had the potential. He was behind David Montgomery for the last few years, and I don't know about you guys, but I've always had some kind of share of Khalil Herbert in the various forms, because he has a there's a lot of weeks he'd put up 24 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown, or 23 carries, 106 yards, no touchdowns, but just solid weeks where when Montgomery was hurt. So I think by default I'll put him there. Young guy that I like a lot, Roschon Johnson. He was Bijan Robinson's backup with Texas last year. That might be, when we look back on it 10 years from now, that might be one of the better, of the last decade. That might be one of the better backfields to come out of college football. I mean, I think Roschon will eventually work his way in. I think he'll get some carries, because I think Foreman was kind of a decent signing, but I don't see him replicating what he did in Carolina last year. That was just he just went on a tear for about the last 7 or 8 games, and I don't see him replicating that and being the number one back here. So Roschon definitely has the potential to jump both these guys. I think he could potentially be better than Herbert. And what you guys think? I got it out of my mouth. I got it out of my system. I'm like Justin. I'm like Superman. I'm like Justin Fields.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, let's kind of jump into the Bears wide receivers, because we're DJ Moore's there, yes. Where does Darnell Mooney? Where does Chase Poole? Where does those two guys fill in? Where do these guys land in their offense? They did draft the guy, Tyler Scott. I think he was from Nevada. They did draft him. I know they had a couple other guys, Felix Jones Jr. I can't even say it either. The other St. Brown, there we go, St. Brown. I totally hacked that. And they had Dante Pettis, which was a 49er at one time.
Aquarius.
I know, right? I was gonna actually stay here real quick because with all this fancy stuff, that DJ Moore was actually not a bad wide receiver last year, even though his touchdowns were not there. I know he had a very little touchdown, but his yards were there. DJ Moore was actually a top 24 wide receiver 35% of the time, which is not bad at all. So him finishing, like a top 36 wide receiver was actually 58% of the time. So give or take, there were times where DJ Moore was a good wide receiver, which a lot of us were disappointed with him at times and whatnot. But overall, I don't know. I might try to nab him up a little bit. I know I'm not sure yet. I'm not quite too keen on him yet. Just the way, Darnell Mooney's been here a little bit longer. He's got a bit more rapport with Fields. Chase as well, just because Chase came in off of the trade. So Chase maybe has a small petty bit rapport with him, but I know once training camp gets underway, I'm going to be kind of eyeing this a little bit. And Darnell Mooney was kind of injured too as well. I think ankle injury. I think he has some cleanup too as well. Mooney, on the other hand, he actually finished top 24, 25% of the time. But he was actually 58% as well, a top 36 wide receiver as well. He finished wide receiver 1 maybe 8% of the time, which is not horribly bad. It's bad, but overall, he could be better. That's what I think, anyways.
But they're not. I think this could. I think this could help everybody, because a lot of these guys, they were in positions they're not supposed to be in. They're just not. Darnell Mooney is not a number 1 receiver in anybody's universe. And Jamie's stats just prove it. He was 8% of the time. That's pathetic, But him being a number 2 or 3, I think he could thrive there. Having a legit number 1, which DJ Moore is. I think that helps. I think that helps everybody. Helps Komet, Claypool if he can get his act together. I don't know what the hell happened with him. I don't know if he just didn't pick up the offense. You know, he was.
I'm sure probably
he was making
offense, probably more than likely. That could be a good majority.
He was. I mean,
2020.
And we remember him from 2020 Pittsburgh. You know, all those big all those crazy catches. You know, like a bigger version of OBJ. You know, I mean, this guy was supposed to be like Pittsburgh's stud the next 10 years, and just didn't never happen. And they shipped him out, and so I don't know. At this point, I think he's almost like a reclamation project. So I guess he'd be the default 3. I like the kid from Nevada you were talking about.
Did you say 2020 or 2021?
I think it was 2020. I thought that was the year Claypool.
Because he had he had 62 receptions, 873 some odd yards. And I think he had about nine touchdowns that year too as well. So
he was all the hotness in your keeper and your dynasties in that point.
Absolutely.
It was like a heroin addict. Like they had needed him. They needed his fix. And and then all of a sudden, the snap of a finger, it's gone. Well,
I mean,
life is so.
He had 860 some odd yards.
Clock struck midnight, Cinderella.
Yep. So he had 860 in 2021 as well. So I mean, he didn't seem like it was bad. I mean, but his receptions went down quite a bit though the year before.
So
it's probably why they traded his ass.
Yeah. So here's my outlook on the receiving core here. DJ Moore is the number 1, and he will get the lion's share of the targets, and he will be, like you said, about a top 20-ish. And that's not fault of his own, because I think he's a better receiver than the positions that he's been put into for his entire career. Look at who he's had feeding him the ball the last couple of years. Justin Fields is a better fantasy quarterback, but I don't think he's a better quarterback. If you look at his completion percentage, and granted, so like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold had about a 60 or below sub 60 completion percentage. Justin Fields only had about a 62% completion percentage last year. And so he needs to get better in that piece of his game to become a better quarterback and not so much of a fantasy quarterback. So his feet are going to keep them in games. His arm is going to win them games. And that's where I'm always so scared about. I'm scared about that passing or receiving core. Go ahead.
But these elite, it's a little bit data reference, but I mean, think about the guys that used to put up 1,000 yards or close to it with being a great fantasy quarterback. Think about Randall Cunningham 30 years ago. Think about Michael Vick 15 20 years ago. Even Lamar Jackson now. These guys, they're putting up the passing yards too. I mean, they were putting up at least 32, 34, 3,500 yards in addition to the 1,000 yards and multiple rushing touchdowns. And then even through the air, 17. Like if he's going to be like, fantasy god here,
he needs to add 1,000 yards passing.
He's going to have he's going to have 22-42 is pathetic. I mean, that's like, 1965 numbers. Like it's not going to cut it, dude. Like he needs like, I would say baseline 3,200 yards, 3,200 yards passing, baseline 20 touchdowns through the air. And, he gets those 1,000 yards, gets, whatever it ends up being, 5-6 rushing touchdowns. It's a damn good year.
So this is all we're going to see from Justin Fields.
Down Bears.
That's all we're going to see from him is touchdown, and touchdown.
That's all.
Here's the scary part. And Eli noted it perfectly, is that your Lamar Jackson could be a top 5 quarterback because not only can he get you 1,000 with his feet, but he can kill you in the air. If Justin Fields can't figure that part out, defenses will scheme him right out of that game. 1,000 yards would be extremely hard to come by, and then the injuries will happen.
Yeah. So I have to agree with you there a little bit too as well. I mean, overall, their offense was 28th overall. The rushing, they were first in rushing.
They should have been.
They were dead last. So I mean, hopefully with the addition of DJ Moore and get Darnell Mooney right, let's get Chase Claypool right. I think this could be a different looking team. But yeah, like you mentioned, if Justin Fields can get that passing down, his passing, now I just lost my train of thought there. If he can get his passing correct, yeah, if he can get that right, I mean, he could be a 3,000 some odd passer with the upside with 1,000 some odd rushing.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
he has to be. If they're going to compete, he has to be a quarterback, not a fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but for
I got
fantasy,
okay.
Jacob.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and he'll be. Where do you think he goes? Like we've done a few mock drafts here, but like where would you guys, kind of place him in? Like let's say this is an average 12 team draft. It's an average
in most analyst leagues and stuff like that. Usually Fields is a fourth rounder, but in a just public, just average guys like you and I, probably second rounder. Second or first, either one. Well, not first. Actually, second round more than likely.
It's like with Watson. It's like I think that the sky's the limit for Christian Watson. I think the same thing with Justin Fields. Like fantasy wise, I don't think it's going to translate to wins. I got the Bears going 5-12, but like fantasy wise, we don't know what his ceiling is because if he can figure out the passing part of it, I mean this guy will be lethal. I mean this will be Lamar Jackson circa 2019. Where you can't stop.
I'm going to put him in a mid third round, and if I'm picking there, I'm going to pass on him. He
doesn't get apathetic.
Yeah. But for me, if you're in a league with me, unless Jalen Hurts is there in the third round, my quarterback is coming late, and that's just how I draft. But it's so scary. Now Superflex. Now we pushed him up. Now he's easily a second round. But,
yeah, no, those are 2 QB leagues. Yeah. In a two QB or even deeper, totally second rounder.
Yeah, and I think that's fair.
I just wanted to say on Kahal Herbert quick. He actually had 5 weeks of double digit attempts. So I mean he did get some he got some workloads. The other thing too is that he was actually a top 24 back 38% of the time. He was a wide running back 53% of the time. Pretty much an RB2 30% of the time. So I mean, he fluctuated quite a bit. So it just really honestly varied on who they're playing and which defense they were playing. But he did see almost 44% of the rush share, and he saw about 4% of the target share with him. But when he did see a little, goal line, he actually had about 5 attempts and he had 2 touchdowns as well. So he does. So Herbert will see just a little bit of the goal line work. Maybe that might swaps with Foreman. Foreman being the older guy, he can kind of do some of that stuff as well. I had Foreman. Foreman actually had 500-yard games last year as well. He had 1 week against. He was an RB. What the heck was it? RB1 or RB? No, he was an RB2 week 16 against Detroit. He had 165 some odd yards and like 1 touchdown. But him himself, he was a top 24 back 23% of the time as well. RB4 58% of the time. So him finishing, above, RB 36. I mean, but overall, I mean, he didn't quite see 1,000 yards. He was about 914 some odd yards. Not bad for a guy filling in after CMC, and they had some other guy too down there, which is in a different preview. But
Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, I mean, Foreman being only 27 years old, he's still got some life in the tank yet. So I mean, I think he'll kind of help this offense out as well. I mean, as far as Roschon Johnson, I don't know. I was looking at his college stats, man. He honestly didn't. I was trying to think when Bijan Johnson got there because Roshan Johnson, throughout his 5-year stint with the Texans, he's only averaged about 500 some odd yards rushing, maybe 600 tops. His pass work was a little bit more nimble. I mean, only like, when the heck was it at here?
It's good. That's good. That's good. He's been kept in bubble wrap. He's been waiting for. He's the only
Yep.
smart one.
So
Because these other backs are like taking all these carries at Alabama and LSU and shit. And he's Roshan's the smart one. Like, hey, I'm going to save my carries for the NFL when I'm getting paid top dollar.
See, Roshan was actually a QB converted to an RB at that time. So when he first started, he had 123 some odd carries. After that, he had 80 carries, 96, 93 some odd carries. So, I mean, he didn't see over 100 some odd carries. So, I mean, this could work out for them in the long run, because I was trying to think because they actually had maybe if they get rid of I can't remember if it was Foreman just a 1-year deal. I think it was a 1-year deal, and then after that, I think Roshan could probably come in and take over that afterwards. But other than that, I think they
thinking on that.
Yeah, I think so. But other than that, I mean, those are kind of the Bears running backs. Herbert will be the guy. I think Foreman will do some goal line work here and there, depending on the situation. Roshan Johnson will probably see a little bit of work. Yeah, so I think, no, I guess I didn't have any projections down for him at all. But I just put down Roshan's going to be a third down specialist, with his passing skills and whatnot. He didn't see over, he was pretty much under that 500 some odd temp, for when he was with Texas. So he doesn't have any wear and tear on this guy. So that is a plus.
One quick thing before we switch teams. Take Tyler Scott in the last round of every single best ball you do. That's all. Fast, super fast. He's going to get you those couple explosion weeks, long touchdowns.
Yeah, think MVS from the Chiefs.
Yeah. One play, 65 yards, touchdown. Yep. That's Tyler Scott.
That's 12.5 points. One catch, 65 yards, touchdown.
That's your last pick in every best ball you do. Put him on your squad.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh man. So we got just a review. We got the Packers. We listened to Out of Rhythm. Yep, rip it up. Packers done. Bears done. Lions. Oh my! It's time. It's time for the kitties. The year of the cat. They're back. They are back and better than ever. I'm liking this team. I'm liking this team a whole lot. Amon St. Brown, Amon Ra, guy's a stud. He's been a stud since day one. Great at USC, great in the NFL. Clear cut number one. He'll be. Jay's probably got some stats there on St. Brown, but yeah, he's my view. Clear cut number one. I put Jared Goff at number 2. I think he's a little underrated. I really do. I think he was cooking last year in this offense, and Ben Johnson, the OC, is back, and he was a candidate to be a head coach, but ended up staying, with Dan Campbell and the boys. So everything's coming back. Everything's coming back for another run. So Jared Goff, he could deceptively have a 30-31 touchdown season, kind of under everybody's nose. And like Donovan was saying 5 minutes ago about taking your quarterback late, you could get some great value on a guy like Jared Goff. It's you take some stud skill guys up top, and then you find Jared Goff there in the middle. People are sleeping on him. I got no issue with that. 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns. Yeah, nothing wrong with. Doesn't turn the ball over a ton. That sounds like a damn good fantasy quarterback to me.
Jordan Love will probably go higher.
Run, not going to put any not Justin Fields or Lamar or anything, but definitely take him over Kyler Murray. Yeah, another shot at Kyler Murray because he's terrible, and we're going to talk about him in a couple weeks. But anyways, David Montgomery got a 3. Came over from the Bears. Don't know exactly what Jahmyr Gibbs' role is going to be yet. So I would assume that Montgomery is going to fill that DeAndre Swift role, kind of be the feature back at least for the first year, and Gibbs might be that Aaron Jones eventually, where does a little bit of everything. Look, I love me some Sam Laporta. I think he's going to be a stud tight end. This is the best, in my opinion, the best tight end draft ever. I mean, you've got 6 or 7 legit guys that are going to be playing. If not day one, they'll be playing some heavy time over 2023. You'll hear a bunch of these guys' names. Laporta, it just depends because they traded Hawkinson, to the Vikings obviously last year, and a couple Wright was one of the guys, and a couple guys that were filling in that. They just, I think with the guy of Laporta's skill, I think you could see similar numbers to what Hawkinson was doing. I really do. I don't think he's the talent of a TJ Hawkinson, but you could see some potential there in that offense. And then I put Jahmyr Gibbs at number 5, 12th overall pick. Just these Alabama backs, they always pan out. They just do. Who was the last one that didn't? That bust from Cleveland. What was his name? He like ate himself. No. It was Eddie Lacy and then another guy. But that was like over 10 years ago. Ever since then, Eddie Lacy ate himself out of the league. I remember him with the Packers.
Oh my God.
But since then, all these Alabama backs have hit, and I think Gibbs, his comp, what he could eventually be is like Aaron Jones. Kind of similar. Similar usage, maybe not the his rookie year, but like dynasty keeper. Over the course of time, I think Gibbs will have more value going into 2024. And a little sleeper for you guys, Jamison Williams. He was suspended for 6 games. Kind of been his history. I mean, he missed the first half of last year. Suspended for 6 more games. But to me, that's just increasing.
Yeah.
It's lowering him down these draft boards, which is perfect because you come in and snag him, because once the second half of this season comes, he's going to be tearing it up. Just watch. He'll fall. People, it scares people off. Missing half a year, missing 6 games, as it should. But Jamison Williams, had a great career at Alabama, and we saw a couple flashes of towards the end of last year what he was capable of, and so I think going forward, could probably get some really good value for Jamison Williams at the end of these drafts. I think he'll get drafted. I don't think he'll go undrafted, but I mean he'll definitely be down the board. And that's my Lions. That's my the year of the cat.
You should be trying to trade for Jamison Williams if you can in dynasty leagues right now.
Yep.
Right before the start of the season, especially if you see a team that has him that suffers an injury, strike while the iron's hot. Like get in there and snag that guy.
Here. Go get him, guys.
And Jamison, I was gonna say, guys, quick too. Jamison Williams would have, had he not had that suspension, Jamison Williams would have been my number 4. So I would have put him at 4 and Laporta at 5. Because I don't know how. Yeah, Gibbs will be just fine over time, but just for the immediate, impact.
You don't know. You can't put him. I think that's
Jamison Williams is going to be a damn good number 2 when he does play. But yeah, no, Donovan said, trade for him.
Go get him.
Ceiling value.
That boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right. That's for damn sure. You know what really sucks? There's no one in the chats. Where in the hell is everybody?
No.
It's just completely dead.
Here,
There's
hold
no
on.
one here. It's like, what the fudge, dude? Oh, it's kind of like.
I probably shouldn't have pissed my brother off. He used to contribute here, but he's kind of a dickhead. So,
round of applause for us not having nobody in the chat today. God damn it! It's all right, guys. We're still having fun here. We still got time. We still got time. We got the Vikings coming along, guys. Come on. I know there's some people out there. Get into goddamn chats, man. Chat it up. Why isn't anybody else commenting about the guys we're talking about? Come on now. I'm pretty sure there is some people out there that's got to have some comments about something. My God damn. Or if not, I'll just end the stream and say, screw this. See you guys later. Screw your guys' NFC North previews and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just calm down. Just calm down, guys. I'm not going to do that now.
This is Jamie. This is the book of Jamie.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is his rant. I like it.
I gotta get these guys all amped up. Come on now. I mean, I know it's gonna be a little, it's an hour and some odd long. We gotta get some people up in here, man. We gotta get it. We gotta get it a little bit exciting in here. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey. Touch quick on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know I was all over him a few years ago. Another case of just I fell in love with him right away. Grabbed him. I was all told by a few people, he's proof's in the pudding here. I mean, this guy he's a stud. I mean, 146 targets last year, 106 receptions. And that was on mediocre teams, right? I mean, he's going to be this good for a very long time, provided he could stay healthy. Cripps, in 2021, he ended up with 90 receptions, and he only started 9 games. It's insane. And what is it? We got Tinder pics, or what's going on there?
Yeah,
we'd like to.
Yep. Update. You know what? Might as well take advantage.
Yeah, we got no one in the chat. We might as well
show off. We need to plug this damn show. Whatever it's gonna take. If I gotta get naked, okay.
Yeah,
whatever.
I ain't scared.
Because Big D's bringing some great takes. Jay's bringing some great takes. I'm my usual self. Yeah. People get it. We need some comments. We need some interaction. Come on. Keep preach.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, his touchdowns aren't where we want them, but if he were ever to get double-digit touchdowns, this guy's gonna definitely be. I mean, he's a top 5 receiver anyway, in my opinion, but just on the amount of work he gets. So a phenomenal wide receiver.
Yeah.
The Lions are going to be so much better. It's so weird to say. We're a couple years removed from garbage bags on heads and or brown paper bags on heads. This is crazy. It's a crazy world we live in.
Yes, it is. Yes, I know we kind of about Jamal Williams, but there's some other. I mean, I kind of want to highlight Ramon real quick because he was actually a top 24 wide receiver 70% of the time, man. So I mean, he was packing the juice. Let's see here. His average draft position right now is actually second roundish. He actually had 400-yard games last year. I wanted to highlight here quick that he was actually wide receiver 1 35% of the time, wide receiver 2 35% of the time. So I mean, he was a plus 36 wide receiver 23% of the time. So I mean, this guy was actually in the top 25 quite a bit when it came to being a wide receiver yards, points, etc., etc. I mean, overall, he actually had 1,160 some odd yards, 1,161 yards last year, which is not bad. Hopefully, he can maybe repeat, maybe get 1,200 some odd yards. I mean, I don't see the touchdowns going up much. Maybe 7 tops, possibly. That's because Jameson Williams probably won't be there. And I just wanted to highlight, Denzel Mims. He got traded from the Jets. He's been with the Jets for maybe about 3 some odd years. The thing about him is he barely saw any action. I mean, he saw some games, but he was very, very limited. I mean, he had only had 11 targets, 186 some odd yards last year with the Jets, and a lot of them were just pretty similar to. I mean, 200 some odd yards. I mean, not a lot of receptions from this guy. So I think I was just looking at Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones, Raymond. Reynolds been there for been in the league 6 years. Jones 10 years. Raymond 7 years. These guys are. I mean, they have some old wide receivers. So I with Mims maybe coming in there. Yep. Mims and then Williams getting up in there. Steve Fish, I think he's been in there just for about 3 years. I think they were drafted by him. He got in. I think he broke his collarbone or something like that. I don't know much on Tom Kennedy. I mean, Reynolds, Jones, Raymond. These guys are like wide receivers 3s and 4s. They're not gonna see much playing time. I mean, Reynolds had 3 touchdowns last year, only 400 some odd yards. Marvin Jones had 3 touchdowns, 500 some odd yards. Raymond He didn't have any touchdowns, but he had 600 some odd yards. So I mean, these guys are just gonna be depth. Especially in deeper leagues, these guys are just gonna be more bodies that you need to build your teams and rosters and stuff like that. I could see Mims coming in, probably being a number 3 or number 4 in this offense, depending on which direction they go. So I can see these guys Mims kind of coming in, giving them some speed. Jameson, if once Jameson does come back, Mims probably inside, Williams on the outside, and I think Ramon played a little bit in slot too as well. He played on some outside as well. So they have a good combination of guys in there. And the other thing I wanted to highlight too was Gibbs. I don't think they got Gibbs, but I don't know if they drafted Mohammed Ibrahim or something. Or I think he was a free agent. One of those two things. Yes, it's Jamie Butcher and some stuff. God damn it. Quit. I actually dig. He actually played for Minnesota. I actually was kind of digging into him quick too as well. He actually played 5 seasons with all Minnesota. So look at this. First year he had 1,000 some odd yards. So 1,000. So he actually had with Minnesota. He had 3,000-yard seasons, 1,000-yard seasons with Minnesota. Last year he actually. The crazy funny thing is that his touchdowns went up, dude. I think he had 20 some odd touchdowns, if that's correct. So he actually lit it up. He went crazy.
Bonkers.
Yeah, he went totally nuts. So he had very little to just almost be in their offense, dude. So I mean, I'm surprised. I don't know if he got drafted or not. I can't remember if he went undrafted because he was another guy I was kind of watching and kind of eyeing on, just kind of see if he did get drafted. I think he probably did get drafted. I probably didn't see it anyways, but I was actually going to look at Gibbs because Gibbs only had like 900 and some odd yards rushing last year when I was looking at him. So I mean, they're big, totally difference, But Gibbs was involved in the passing game quite a bit, which is why he's kind of that dual threat guy. So that's a whole difference. Ibrahim or Mohammed, pretty much your bruiser. I could probably see him coming in, which I don't mind him coming in and kind of being a back. We'll kind of see how David Montgomery kind of fills in, but I do like Mohammed if he does stay with the Lions. I think he could be a guy to kind of watch for in Dynasty in the next couple of years because I kind of like the stats he had. That's my opinion there. And then last but surely, tight ends, man. I was looking at their tight ends too as well. I'm like, they were really after Hawkinson left, they had nothing. There was nothing there with after Hawkinson. They had pretty much no namers. I mean, we had Brock Wright and Shane Zystra
Zystra or something, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Zylstra.
That was the kid from Denver. He was at Denver a couple years ago.
Yeah. So these two guys they both had 4 touchdowns. Wright had the more receptions. He had 18 for about 216 some odd yards, not the greatest. Shane had 11 for 60. So I mean, a lot of these are probably close goal line targets especially for some of these tight end guys. I think Brock might have had one in there, a little 20-yard reception in there for a touchdown or something along those lines. I know I've seen a few in there, but I was just like, who in the hell are these two guys? So they're pretty much back and forth. So they had 4 receptions apiece. And the other quick thing too, I think I had the passing. Their offense was actually number 3, which was pretty crazy if you think about it.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised. I'm like, what? No way.
Yeah.
Well, 4th overall, rushing 11th, passing 8th. So I mean, it's 380 some odd yards total of total offense. Can they be better? Yeah, but they lost Jameson Williams because he's like, I want to gamble. So there goes that. But overall, I like Sam Laporta. Actually had Actually, I was kind of looking at some of his quick stats, but he didn't have a whole lot of stats either last year. He had about 500 some odd yards with Iowa State or Iowa last year. Only had 3 touchdowns. So I'm like,
3 tutties.
I had an observation quick. What is it with Alabama receivers and pulling this kind of nonsense? Calvin Ridley suspended for a year. Henry Ruggs. We know what Henry Ruggs. He's a dipshit. You know, we know what he did. Jamison Williams
he's in
gambling
prison.
now. It's like
Maybe
running back though is-
it could be a core
receivers, I don't know.
curriculum down there. Gambling 101.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know what's in the water in Tuscaloosa, but damn.
Ooh.
Yep.
But
All right,
yeah, I think
Sam,
Sam Laporta should be the main guy here, and you know, I think Brock will be kind of the tight end. He'll be the number 2. Jane will be kind of So Sam is a guy you want to look at, and Brock right. You know, it all sounds the same to me.
Sounds wrong to me, but
All right.
I think Laporta's got the I think he's got the ability to be a top 20 tight end. You know, rookie year. I don't see why he couldn't. He's not going to blow the world up, but I mean, most tight ends don't pop the rookie year, obviously. You know,
so he's getting all the hype that he shouldn't be on your team if you're smart this year for redraft. He shouldn't be on your team because he's going to get drafted on. Someone's going to take a chance on him, and you're right.
You think he's way too high?
I think he's going too high. He's getting so much hype. Yeah, he's
well,
all.
There was a couple of drafts where I kind of got him in double-digit rounds. So I mean, if you get him in double-digit rounds,
yeah, it's worth it.
I'll get him in double digits. If he's in the double digits, sure, I'll take him there. But I mean, if he's going higher, you know, in the single digits, I won't go there. There's guys I'll take before that even happens. So
the double digits, you know, like you're gonna have you got your Kelsey, then your Andrews, and then you got a little pocket full here and there, and then you get to that group of your Njokus and you know those type of guys.
Aramoose and
right,
yep.
and then right at the end of that, someone's gonna grab Laporta, right?
Yeah. I took him in one. I think our last mock, I did take him in one of our rounds, and I can't remember which round that was.
If your team's built right, sure, give it a shot. But I don't know. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let somebody else take.
I want him as my backup tight end. I think that's a perfect spot for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On your bench, I would.
Yeah.
Maybe like have Nkonkwo from the Titans, and then have Laporta as the backup. You know, similar. You know, some situation like that. I think would work out good.
Yeah.
Lions, I have at 10-7.
I would say that's pretty accurate. I think they win this division, but
it'll be close.
It's gonna be close.
Crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I had the Packers being dead. The Lions will be second. The Vikings will be first. So I think it's going to be cutting it close.
And that's why we lead in. This is very true. That's why we lead in with the main event. And maybe you people don't deserve it tonight. Yep, another one bites the dust. You know, maybe you don't deserve it tonight. You know, there hasn't been a lot of interaction. Jamie over there could use a hug. I could use a blanket. I'm getting kind of chilly, you know. But I took the old shirt off. I'm trying to get views. We're trying to get ratings here. Big D's still hanging in over there. But you know what? It's time. It's time.
Oh,
it's time.
God. Oh.
Down that horn. That's right. Yeah, this will be of all the hour 29 we've done. This will be the YouTube short right here for all the local Vikings fans. The two of us are in South Dakota, Donovan's in Wisconsin. This is probably the team in this area. I mean, there's some candidates, Chiefs, Bears. There's some Broncos fans out in Western South Dakota, but Packer fans obviously here too. But I'd say the Vikings in this region, this is the team. And let's get into it. They got the most amount. Defense is awful, but guess what? We don't talk about defense. We're not going to talk about their 28th ranked fantasy defense. Nobody cares. Okay, I'm not going to talk about their kicker. I don't care. This skill position lineup here. This is lethal. That's what this is.
What's very horrible. You know what's horrible? That the the rushing yards. The rushing was 27th overall, and they only averaged about 97 yards per carry. That's horrible. That's bad.
This is all through the air. You love like Kirk Cousins is gonna have. I can't believe I'm saying this. Kirk Cousins is probably gonna have close to an MVP season. And I've been watching the quarterback series on Netflix. I like Kirk. I like him a lot more than I did before. I'm a Kirk Cousins fan. You damn right. Yeah, he's a good guy. Been a good quarterback for a long time. And they were running off the stats on ESPN. He's in last since he came to the Vikings. I think this is going into his 6th year with the Vikings, 5th or 6th year. He's been in the top 5 or 6 in every major stat, like everything, like QBR, passing yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, everything. I mean, the guy. It goes back to my point. When we were talking about Jared Goff there, how about you could find a good quarterback late. Like if you don't want to invest in a Mahomes, a Burrow, you can get some damn good value for Kirk Cousins, and he's only 35. So I mean, he's still got a few more years of putting up numbers like this, especially with Mr. Tier 1 of one, JJ himself, Justin Jefferson, number 1, shooting for that 2,000. It's going to be between him, Chase, and Tyreek. One of those guys is going to try to shoot for 2,000. I don't see why he can't. Dalvin Cook's gone with the running game. Madison, I have it number 5 there. We'll wait and see if he can handle the load, and he'll probably have a couple other guys too. I think Chandler. The kid from UNC who Jamie's a big UNC guy. He probably have a few stats on Chandler. But Chandler will probably be the backup. But yeah, we'll see if Madison can handle a load. Let's see if he can be 1,000-yard back. But I don't see why this receiving core just can't tear it up. I got JJ at 1. Hawkinson, I think, is the 3rd best fantasy tight end in the league. You could even argue he's right there with Mark Andrews. Kelsey's just otherworldly, but in terms of Hawkinson could come close to 1,000 yards. I don't see why Hawkinson couldn't have close to 1,000-yard tight end season. I mean, this is all, like I said, I think this is all going to be through the. I'm speculating this is all through the air. My man Kirk, I have at number 3, and that's not a bad spot to be in. Damn good. I think he's going to be a slept on guy in your drafts coming up, and you're going to find some great value for him. Jordan Addison, if he's not doing dumb shit like going 140 and I think it was like 140 and a 55 or something. Yeah. Maybe he's speedy on the field. Maybe he's speedy off the field too. I don't know. But Addison has got the goods. Tore it up at USC last year. His 1st round pick. I didn't mention him here on the list, but KJ Osborne, another guy that I like a lot. I mean, they got 3 studs between JJ Addison and KJ Osborne. Not going to skip a beat losing Adam Thielen to the Panthers in the offseason. Like Addison at 4, I think not going to have like a record, a record-breaking rookie season or anything. He might get in trouble. He might get suspended a couple games. Who knows? He might do something dumb. But when he's on the field, he's gonna be highly productive, I would assume. And Alexander Madison, I got number 5. Just because he's the feature running back. You can't have a top 5 list without a feature running back. Yeah. And we'll wait and see. Like I was saying a few minutes ago, if he can handle a full load. And my guess would be that I'd say 950 to 1,000 yards. I think that's
made it this far. Yeah, I agree with Madison I agree with Madison at 10. I have a strange feeling they're going to bring him back in. So I don't know who it's going to be or what it's going to be, but is this where Kareem Hunt ends up?
Yes. That's good. Yeah,
it could happen.
Him and Hunt, with this offense, I mean, they could have the league's worst defense. It's probably not going to matter.
Yeah. It won't matter. When you score 62 points, what does it matter what your defense gives up? Yeah. You just got to outscore the other guys. Yeah. And they played a Packers.
He's another guy. I almost walked right into that the last couple of years. Backing up Nick Chubb.
And let me tell you,
this guy's still got mileage left. You can get him dirt cheap right now.
And
I love Donovan. I love it.
He comes here, and wait a minute. I just threw up in my mouth because I'm here pumping up this frickin' Viking crap. But
wait.
That's disgusting. I think I'm gonna puke.
So Vikings brass, turn off this part of the show. Get out of the chats here. Get off of the live feed.
They're gonna hire you for the front office. They're gonna be like,
But-
wow, that's professional.
If you bring Hunt anywhere where he could have a chance to feature, this dude's going to come in with such a chip on his shoulder because all he ever wanted was time. And like he gets it. And this guy's going to run like no tomorrow, right? He's going to be balls. So it's going to be, like the NASCAR. Always runs good before it blows type mentality. Like this is my shot. I'm going to give her 120. The pedal is going through the floorboard. If Kareem Hunt gets, and this would be the situation for him where he could just come in and be the dog, so.
What the dog doing?
How do you have that ready? That was not pre-planned.
But I honestly, I would, if that does happen, would Hunt oversee Madison though? Because
Possibly.
because Hunt can be an RB1. I mean,
Oh.
he can do the workload and he could be a pass catcher as well. And Madison with the little nimble of pass catching he did receive, it wasn't a whole lot. And with his limited time that we did see from him, could Hunt actually take over that role if that did happen though? I mean, because I know I mean. In Inwa, he didn't play much. He's been there for a couple of years, barely seen the field. Ty Chandler was there last year as well. Dwayne McBride, well, he's not much. CJ Ham. This backfield is a total mess. It is, and it's kind of like, this could be almost a good landing spot for him. I mean, maybe get Hunt for a couple of years, a 2-year deal
right.
or something like that.
Great landing spot.
I think that
For
would be.
any of these backs. If I'm Josh Jacobs, like if Josh Jacobs is willing to maybe take a little less, I'd come here. I mean, this is a ready-made team.
Yeah, that would be a good.
With Josh Jacobs, they would set the NFL. They'd score 40 points a game. They would blow the whole with Josh Jacobs and Madison, and then with this receiving core. And I like what they were doing last year. I know they had that playoff. That's just what the Vikings do, though. I mean, they blew it in the playoffs against the Giants, but I mean, that was more on the defense.
Yeah. Jacobs goes here, boy. You're quick to move him in the top 5 for sure. And then who knows? And then I take my 9-8 record that I gave the Vikings and I change it to a 12-5. Is that what it turns like instantly? Snap of a finger. They only lost 5 games because they did something stupid at that point. Like
Yep.
Even Hunt changes my outlook on it because I don't know about. I think Madison, we kind of saw little pieces of what he could be, and I don't know that it's like top dog mentality there. So like,
yeah,
if they bring in Hunt or like you said, Jacobs gets up there, holy smokes, man. Maybe Cook goes to the Raiders and Jacobs flies over to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Wow.
Running backs.
Dalvin Cook might be suspended. So I mean, who knows? I mean, there was words with him having the girl writing the letter into the NFL trying to retract what she said or whatever and whatnot. So who knows? He might even be suspended. He might not even be seeing any game time this year at all yet. So I mean, those are just a little bit I did here. So I mean, it's open playfield now. I mean, I kind of turn things off for Cooks. So wanted to say here quick, Kirk Cousins average his ADP is actually 10th round. So I mean, very good value for somebody going in the 10th round ish. So I mean, him being a top 12 quarterback 52% of the time, and him actually being a QB1 is actually top 5 23% of the time. Top 12 actually 29% of the time. So him honestly being a QB3 is actually 17% of the time. So very little. So I mean, you can see that he's actually in the top 25 quite a bit. So I mean, you can tell with his stats last year, 4,500 some odd yards passing last year, 29 some odd touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Yeah, a little high, but he had a few fumbles, a couple of rushing touchdowns up in there. But I mean, overall completion was 65%. His touchdowns to attempts about almost 5% of the time. You can see he's throwing a touchdown, give or take. But I mean, overall, Kirk Cousins is a guy you can actually get in later rounds that's going to have some probably huge upside here. I mean, because he's going to be overlooked by Burrows and freaking Prescott, Herbert. I mean, Herbert, not Herbert. Cousins will be a guy to look at down the road for sure. That'll be a given. Since we were talking about, there were a couple other guys we were talking about. We were talking about Madison. Madison was actually the top. He actually was the top scorer back only 11% of the time since we were talking about running backs. So I mean, he was actually a running back for 70% of the time. So I mean, him being a top 25 back was 70% of the time. That was just because Cooks was there. So I mean, limited playing, kind of, taking the third down backs, the third down work and whatnot. So very very limited in that area. I mean, with him actually getting being the lead guy, could he be bumped? Could that bump up? Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not unless they bring somebody else in. But overall, I mean, I could see Madison taking the bulk of the carries. That's just me. He had 74 attempts last year. I could probably see him maybe 250 plus attempts this year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, if they bring somebody in, but for the time being, where would you slot Madison in just overall, like either draft position or where you think I think if it's just him by himself, like if he's going to be the feature back, I think probably
he's going to be around
22nd, 23rd fantasy back, like not a higher, the offensive.
There's
I mean, in average draft positions, 6 overall. I mean, 6th round, 7th round tops. I mean, he's going to kind of be right in the middle for a low end, wide receiver or running back one. He's not going to be a high end.
The thing that'll pump his value up are the number one running backs in systems like Buffalo or New England, where there isn't Ramondre Stevens is going to be the dude, but there's always another running back there, and James Cook's going to be the dude this year, but there's always another running back there, and so that's probably where you're going to start seeing he's going to get that because as of today he's number one, and that changes if they bring somebody else in there.
Yeah, and right now there's, like Jamie was saying, their running back depth chart's a mess. It is. I mean, Chandler I think is going to be a decent rookie, but I mean you have a late round rookie that's already probably the second best running back on the roster. I mean that's sad.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be.
Now, you look at some of the ADP though, and that David Montgomery's lower than what's the guy we were just talking about? Madison. David Montgomery's ADP is lower than Madison. I don't know. David Montgomery.
I'd take David Montgomery over Madison.
I think he's going to get a lot more touchdowns than Madison. I would too. I would take Montgomery over Madison. And right now,
touchdowns. Yeah,
they got. I'm looking at Fantasy Pros right now. They got Madison at 22 and Montgomery at 29. I'll take Montgomery over Madison. But,
yeah.
Wait, would you take Herbert over Madison?
I think so, but I think so, but I don't know.
I think it's gonna be a running
have
back.
To really think about that
with Chicago.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a running back thing by
the McBride that they drafted. He's got a lot of
Danny McBride, the actor. Danny McBride.
Is it McBride? Am I wrong? What the hell's the guy's name? Yeah, McBride, right? Come on, guys.
Yeah, he's one of the backup. Yeah, one of the backups.
So he's got fumble issues. He's got a lot of work to do to cut into Madison. I think Madison's touches, but Roshan Johnson is going to be more of a burden on Herbert than McBride is going to be on Madison.
Yeah, I think McBride's been there. He's been there. What the heck? Oh wait, never mind. Yeah. Oh, he's UAB. Yeah, I don't think I dived into him at all. See, I didn't kind of overlooked him a little bit. I just know Ty Chandler's kind of been around there. I think he was a rookie. Yeah, he played last year as a rookie, so I could probably see Ty being a little bit more involved over, Keeney's been there for a little bit. CJ Ham, I mean, they haven't really. I don't know. This offense is going to look a little bit different. So, I mean, I think we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But Madison should be the guy. I think Chandler there, and then third will probably either between McBride, CJ Ham, and Nawu. Igna Wakikahu. I don't know. Don't ask me. I just butchered his name. Sorry, guys. People are going to be like,
Muka Mahiki Laka.
It's kind of like saying Puka Kanua. I'm gonna pook Ananua. Oh Jesus, what am I doing?
Was that the Hawaiian song? Clicky Mookie Monk.
Yeah,
Is the place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. So we were talking about. I kind of want to jump into it. With, wide
the
receiver
little hula girls.
I'm kind of curious now. I mean, Jordan Addison and I think he'll probably come in and take the Thielen targets. And where does KJ Osborne land? And I mean, I think these guys, which guy's going to be the wide receiver 2? Which guy's going to be the wide receiver 3? I mean, we all hope that Osborne would come in and take in the number 2 role, but they drafted Addison. It was funny because honestly, I was looking at Addison here quick. Here's some quick stats on Addison. With his little tender with Pittsburgh, first year, 166. The year after that, 1,500 some odd yards, and then his last year when he went to USC, 800 some odd yards. So he actually dipped. He should have just stayed with the Pittsburgh. He probably could have had himself another 1,000-yard season. With Pittsburgh, he had almost 20 some odd touchdowns in his 2-year tender with Pittsburgh, and he only had 8 touchdowns with USC. I can see probably changing backs, going to Caleb Williams compared to Pickens or Pickett, whatever his So it's just kind of like I could see him just kind of wanting to get some last minute rise for his draft stock, but I was just kind of looking at that. The downfall with Addison, he drops the ball a little bit way too much. So when he gets into traffic, he might be dropping some balls. So that's going to be his little weakness. But overall, great speedster, and should open their offense up too as well. Does Addison take away from Justin or Jefferson? That's going to be the key. That's going to be the answer. Those are going to be the kind of the main keys here. Does Addison dip away from Jefferson's work a little bit?
Nope.
No,
I
think Kevin O'Connell, the coach. I think he's a creative play caller. So I think he's going to mask a lot of those issues you said. And I saw it in college too with Addison. So I agree with you on that. I just think when you got a clever guy like him or McVay, Shanahan, Andy Reid, one of these guys, they'll figure out a way to kind of mask that. What he's not.
Yeah.
They're not going to be sending him, in a lot of traffic areas, a lot of middle of the field. They're going to be kind of keeping him just quick little outs, I would say.
Yeah.
Where do you guys see Jefferson at for projection wise? Just projections wise.
18. I don't think he's going to get 2,000. I think 1,800 yards. 1,800 yards, 13
That's pretty
touchdowns.
I said Addison, not Jefferson.
Oh.
Oh, did I say Jefferson?
I think you said Jefferson. I heard Jefferson.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I meant Addison. Sorry, guys.
No, you're all right.
Yeah.
Let me pull up here.
800. Let's see. 800 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, maybe 700-ish, somewhere in there. 700, 800-ish. I think that'd be pretty fair. 4 or 5 touchdowns. I could probably see.
Yeah.
I could probably see 4 touchdowns from him myself, honestly.
Yeah. So last year, Thielen had 70 receptions, 716 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So I think he potentially could
Trading
have
that off.
Yeah. But and losing Thielen for the Vikings is addition by subtraction. He's getting long in the tooth. This is the route they need to go. They got, I could see him at 75, 800, 850 yards, and 5 or 6 touchdowns.
So
Justin Jefferson's going to eat.
With Osborne, he was actually a top 24 wide receiver 23% of the time, which is not bad, but he was more of a wide receiver 70% of the time, which is probably why, with Thielen being there and whatnot, I was actually hoping for, a lot of us were hoping to see KJ, getting that number 2 role and actually maybe jumping up 800, maybe 1,000 some odd. He showed flashes when you had him there because, there was a couple of weeks where he had some good flashes. Everybody was running to the waiver wires picking him up, so everybody was all excited for him. I know I was like, hell yeah. And it's like, oh, shit.
I've touched him multiple times.
Yep. So.
I bet you have. But you have touched him multiple.
It's not Minnesota's not that far away. I can do what I want.
Osborne had 650 some odd yards last year, which is not bad at all. 5 touchdowns, 90 some odd targets. So he saw some stuff. We were all hoping that would rise up, but I think we're probably hoping that more likely we'll see Osborne being the third wheel in this offense.
Hey, don't forget about the potential stud on their team.
What's stud?
Jalen Reagor. Oh my God, you forgot all about him. I'm surprised you didn't have like five infographs for him and everything. Whatever.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no. That's no talk there, man.
Jalen Reagor.
He's out. He's like he's another TCU prospect who didn't pan out. And,
no, he didn't. And this dummy had him on a team once and believed in him.
Well, I'm sure a lot of us did. And that was my also. That was my same concern when it came to the Chargers
Quentin Johnston.
Yeah. So that was kind of my concern a little bit. Him coming out being a first round bust. Hopefully that's not the case, but we don't hope that happens. But
if he's just a system, like Max Duggan was a system guy for TCU. We think he'll be just a backup in the NFL.
Yeah. But
I get your point about Reagor and if Johnston is kind of just a college system guy because everybody in the Big 12 is putting up 50 points a game. And getting big stats. Yeah. You don't know what translates and what. So.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
But to Justin Jefferson here. He was actually a top 24 wide receiver 70% of the time. He was not even a wide receiver 3 at all. So this guy was actually in the top 24, 25, actually top 24. Good. 17% of the time, but so he was a wide receiver 1 52% of the time. So he was actually in the top 12 most given weeks. So this guy, I don't think this guy's gonna dip at all. Hopefully not. He should be in the top 12 hopefully most of the season unless he gets an injury. That's the only thing that's gonna if he gets an injury, that's gonna deduct all of his hopefully his career breaking 2,000 some odd yards. So everybody quick, if you didn't listen to our episode back in the AFC or NFC East, we Eli brought up his book of Eli there with Tyreek Hill getting 2,000 some odd yards receiving this year, which we mentioned Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase as well. So if you want to hear that little bit, I think I have that in our YouTube there, in our YouTube video. So I think we have that there somewhere. But yeah, Jefferson should hopefully rebound and maybe 1,700. I'm gonna say 1,700 some odd yards. But he only had 8 touchdowns. Maybe he repeats with maybe 9 touchdowns. But overall, other than that, I just pretty much see Jefferson being your number 1 guy or most everybody's drafting. Matt is dude. Welcome in.
We did get a comment. We're past the Bears, but I thought I'd get this in here for talking about Yeah, maybe. We don't know. We don't know about Fields. Like I said, it all comes down to that arm of his. So we'll
Yeah.
wait and to see with him. I think JJ. I think he's going to up the touchdowns. He's got 8 tutties last year. I could 12, 13. I think he's going to up that yardage similar. Targets might come down a little bit with a few better options. With KJ and Addison. But yeah, I can see the touchdowns going up there. Very similar though to what's on the screen. Vikings 12-5. What do you guys got?
Yeah. Let me look at the schedule here real quick.
I could give them same as as I did the last. I could go with 10-7. I could see that. They're just, their defense is so suspect that their offense has to be perfect every week. If they bring that running back in, yeah, like I said, that's easy 12 wins.
I'm banking on calling it here first.
Yep.
Paul Allen, all the boys in the city.
Yep. I think
on the Kareem Hunt train.
Yep.
12-5 is given because they got week 2 they play Philly, week 3 they play the Chargers, week 5 Kansas City, week 7 San Francisco. So I mean that could be give or take. Depends on week 10 how New Orleans looking. Denver could be a pretty easy win. They play Chicago. Week 15 they play Cincinnati. So I mean, I could see him having a few losses in there. Probably 4 or 5 losses in there, give or take. So I think that'd be pretty accurate. I think. I think that was kind of it for most of everything else. I think. Yep. Pretty much. Did you guys want to talk about Hawkinson real quick? I mean, Hawkinson is pretty much 4th rounder, pretty much give or take. He pretty much rebounded. I mean, last year he actually was number 2 last year in tight ends overall. He was a top 12 tight end 47% of the time. He was the top 25 tight end 11% of the time. So him actually being in the top 24 was more convenient. But he was actually in top 24. He was actually 41% of the time. So he was actually ching making some money for you guys. So after he left and getting that into that offense there.
Automatic start every week. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah.
He's in rarefied air, as they would say. Did the NFC North banged it out. Donovan ripped up them receipts. Jay brought the stats. He brought the meat. I'm in the sandwich here. Yep, another one bites the dust. We banged out 4 teams: Packers, Lions, Bears, oh my, and the headliners, the Minnesota Vikings, your NFC North 2023 division champs, and Mr. Kirk Cousins. Look out for him in your draft because he's going to be a steal. And Jared Goff too. A couple steals there. Jared Goff. What can I say? Two QBs that are going to be mid-late round picks. You can snag them up. Snag them up. Now it's time. Okay, I go blind now.
There you go.
For my walking stick. I can't see. It's the book of Eli, and I'm talking about Justin Herbert's record-breaking contract. Bam. Getting a couple million more than Lamar Jackson's deal that he signed back in April. And I don't think he should be the highest paid quarterback in the league. I'll be honest. I know that's the way agents and I know that's the way everything's going. Okay, the next guy gets paid. At one point, Stafford, who I don't think is a top 5 quarterback either. At one time, Stafford was the highest paid quarterback. At one time, I think it was Prescott or Derek Carr. I know how this. I get how it goes. But my argument here is that I don't think Herbert's a top 5 fantasy quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback this year either. I can name 5 guys right now. Mahomes. What? Mahomes, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen. There's right there. That's my 5. You don't need anybody else in there. And you could argue maybe a couple other guys could jump him. I'd say Herbert's maybe the 8th. In terms of fantasy and just being an overall quarterback, the guy hasn't even won a playoff game. They blew. I was watching this game at the gym this past weekend. It was a rerun on NFL Network, they blew a big lead against Jacksonville in the playoffs. I think they were up by like 20 points. You know, I know he was on the road. I get like everybody wants to blame it on coaching and everything else. It's just the guy's damn good. I don't think he's $262 million good. And you know, there was and I know you guys follow the NBA too a little bit. Jaylen Brown from the Celtics is another really good player, not great, not even the best player on his own damn team. Jaylen Brown just got a $304 million supermax deal. So two guys who I don't think are elite on their teams or at their positions are getting these like massive record-breaking deals. I just can't sit by. I can't not say anything about it. I don't think Justin Herbert is worth that much money. I think he should have been maybe in that, Deshaun Watson, like high, it's subjective. I get it, in that 46 to 48 million a year range, and he's going to be at 52.5. I mean, this is really going to handcuff the Chargers going forward, I think. And, and they're already a dysfunctional franchise to begin with. So they better hit on all these picks. They better hope Quentin Johnston hits. They better hope that, the next running back after Eckler, isn't asking for 15 million. They might have some issues on their hands. I can see again. What do you guys think? What do you think about the Herbert deal? And then we'll Splitsville on out of here.
Well, I just laughed in your face. That's what I did.
Remember, I'm blind. I didn't see.
You couldn't see.
God damn it, dude. That sucks.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
Where did his touchdowns go? That's what I need to know. I mean,
25 touchdowns.
25.
He doesn't run.
He went from 38 touchdowns in 21 to 25 touchdowns in 22. And where did they go? Okay, so interceptions, he threw 5 less. Okay, but
you could get
down, and touchdowns went down. QB rating went down. He got sacked more because he doesn't run, because he just stands there. Like the numbers, the numbers trending wise when I look at them tell me he shouldn't be paid more. He threw just as many touchdowns as a man with 2 concussions. Like he threw just as many touchdowns. These are
Derek Carr numbers. These are Derek Carr numbers, and Derek Carr got benched last year with the Raiders. Now, obviously, that was more the coach than anything, but still, these are Derek Carr numbers, and Derek Carr is 40 million. You know what I mean?
Austin Eckler won him 10 games. He shouldn't have.
Austin Eckler is the MVP of that team. Eckler is the best player on that team. That's why I had him at number 1 when we did our Chargers a couple weeks ago. Austin Eckler is the best player on that team. Not even close. If you look at Pro Football Reference, they have a QB record on there that should be taken out of Justin Herbert's. Like he shouldn't have a QB record. It should be a Austin Eckler record. Like,
I can see that because let's see here. Last year they were overall 9th overall, offense wise, rushing 30th, and passing they were actually 4th. So yes, their rushing did dip a little bit. They did have Eckler. I mean, he's their main guy. They don't have. I mean, that's why they're having issues. I mean, because he wanted to get paid. He wanted some extra money, and they weren't giving it to him. I mean, they have Josh O'Kelly. He was all right. They've drafted Isaiah Spiller. He didn't do much at all. So I mean, they don't have anything back. They have nothing with the backfield. Their wide receivers are iffy. I mean, Mike Williams can't stay healthy. Keenan Allen can't stay healthy. I mean, Joshua Palmer is kind of a wide receiver 3. Jalen Guyton, he is the same. These two guys, those guys are like wide receiver 3s, wide receiver 4s. I mean, but the offense did click. I like Quentin Johnston. I think if it all comes down to it, Quentin Johnston could be the number 1 guy next year. I mean, Mike Williams could maybe be the wide receiver 2. I mean, it's hard to say, and everybody be like, "Oh my God," but I mean, other than that, I mean, with their offense going to be looking a lot different this year. I can see Herbert maybe teetering with being a top 5 QB this year. I just think his yards are going to go up. I think he's going to have some more touchdowns. I think he's going to get back to that 30 some odd touchdown range. So I could probably see him having, a 3 touchdown games here and there. So I like Herbert in the long run, and this keeps him there. He's fairly talented. That's just my opinion, but
I was just thinking, like, you can get this kind of production if this is going forward. I mean, hopefully he can get back to that 38 touchdown, range and what he can do. But like, you can get these numbers from Jared Goff and Derek Carr for a fraction of the price, and then you could afford to pay Austin Eckler and lock him up. You know what I mean? It wouldn't even be a discussion. He wouldn't be on social media and all over the shows like bitching and you're like, oh, where's my money? He deserves it. Austin Eckler is damn near the best fantasy back in the league, close to it. You know what I mean?
oh, yeah,
Definitely
he
top
is.
3.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't think Herbert's worth the money. I guess that's my thing. But
Oh,
I
I don't
the damn
disagree.
book
I don't
is-
disagree.
We've been on over 2 hours. This is 2 hours.
Yep.
Give us our roses. Give us our roses here. Give us a nice pat on the back. There you go. I'll give you one to you boys. Yep. I mean, we laid it in. We laid it in good. Book is closed, man. Got one comment there late. Some Justin Fields love, but yeah, man, it was an interesting division, and we'll see what happens. Are we doing Jay? Are we gonna do the NFC South next week?
Yep. NFC South.
Dirty South.
Yep. Yeah, we'll call it the Dirty South. Because it's going to be kind of dirty.
That means Anthony. That means Anthony. I know he's probably not watching, but Anthony, we're gonna message him. Anthony needs to be on the damn show. We've been teasing this for a year now. Anthony is he's a big Falcons fan and get his take on everything. And I love my Bucks, but yeah, it'd be some not as good as tonight because it's the NFC. Some of these teams are lacking some of the talent, so not as fun as the Lions and Vikes, obviously. But yeah, I want to thank Big D. Give a shout out to Govier. He's a. You guys have a good chat. Was it Monday? You guys had you chatted with Govier?
Tuesday. Yeah, There's some stuff in the works down the road, but I'm not going to tease that right now. But something's in the works, so let's put it that way.
So yeah, I want to thank everybody that supports the show.
Yep. Yeah, make sure you join. I think our Discord link is actually in the description. If not, I think it's in there. I'm not sure exactly. I'll post that quick here in the comment section here real quick as well. Make sure you join our. If you don't catch our lives, make sure you join. Check out our pods over on Sleeper. Jesus Christ, it's already been long. I'm hungry.
It's late.
And it is getting late. Yeah, join our Discord. Hopefully we can get some more guys to join this year. We eventually want to grow it. Like I said, make sure if you don't catch us live, get over on our pod section. Apple Pods, Spotify, Google. I guess we're in Intune, Podbean, and everything else. But yeah, I think that kind of dribbles up everything. And yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to mention beforehand.
No. Draft was this Tyler Scott? What's your last pick in best ball? That's all I had.
All right. Yeah, make sure you join us next week. I think it'll be next week, Wednesday, for the Dirty South. And we'll talk about that division. And we'll talk about Eli's beloved Bucks. And I'll make sure to
Dirty Birds.
Find some bad sound clips for the South, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, for everybody, I think we had some fun. We had some different sound clips up in there. I was kind of happy with it all. So other than that, I think it's time for us to bounce up out of here. I got to get some food, and and I apologize now for us starting late because I actually was in the wrong stream, And I was going to complain to Eli. I'm like, dude, where the hell are you at, man? And so
Yeah, it wasn't my fault this time. It wasn't my fault.
Yes. So next week we'll be actually on time for sure because Eli will be in the right. I'll be in the right stream this time. And I do apologize for the Twitch stream as well. I think since the time lapse, I think they canceled the stream over there or something like that. So I'm sorry if you guys are any of our Twitch followers. So I'm sorry with that as well. So, but I think that calls it a wrap from Jamie. That's Eli and Donovan. We are going to be up out of here. Take care, everybody.
Thanks.